What's happening? What's happening? What it is. All right, check this out. Just a couple things I just want to speak about. Actually, I don't even know what I'm gonna title this. Nevertheless, I'm gonna try to keep it on the energy and the static electricity. What's called static electricity. All right. This so-called static electricity. I want you to study it. I want you to look into it. If you're on the level of advancing your energy on a true energetic level, all right, that's natural, and I'm not going to even say natural, I'm going to say that's organic, okay, organic, all right, on a biosymmetric feed, right, you know, like plugging in to a different type of source, right, you know. Nevertheless, static electricity. Now, this is what I'm getting though. The deal about earthing and wearing shoes. This is what I'm getting though. Static electricity. Your body grounded will not hold static electricity. Static electricity is discharged when it's grounded. In order for your body to hold the chi and the energy. Now, this is where the book of the the origin of electromagnetism comes into play, in my thought. All right. And remember, I'm not a teacher. I'm just explaining some things that I come and check this out. All of my little science type of thoughts and views, I may not even do any of them, but I want you to know, and I put it out there because the thought is what counts. It's someone with equipment much more than I have, which I have zero basically in this area. But I have the thought to let you know and to awaken you to this so you can study. Because truthfully and honestly, it is an area of study that's very intriguing. Nevertheless, we proceed, right? So anyway, all right. What it was. What it is right now. Okay, so this energetic feed, all right, this magnetism, the origins of electromagnetism. In that book, it says that a lot of the hieroglyphics were no more than electronic schematics, basically, left for a mind, okay, that could decode it in a manner that would actually design mechanisms. Now, some of you may have not heard that, but it was certain hieroglyphs. If you look at it and taking today's electronic schematic, right, and the diagrams, you can see basically some similarity. And with your creativeness, you can see a grid. Nevertheless, with organic, okay, not artificial intelligence, but organic intelligence, okay? Nevertheless, I want to share with you a lot, but I don't want this camera to stop again either, you know. But nevertheless, so I'm just sharing this with you to think in these arenas, because what's more than me studying is you knowing that I'm studying, which not coming close to anything, therefore not putting the insight upon myself, but I am placing it upon you. Nevertheless, yes. Anyway, too. So I'm just shooting things out there, and the Ankh had expressed that electromagnetism was a powerful core centering mechanism to be utilized in the magnification of anything that we done. Now, static electricity, it's a lot of things that they say that causes static. You know, when you have a lot of static, you know, they even made some shit called static guard, right? But nevertheless, check this out. The Ark of the Covenant and the Babylonian batteries are capacitors, which charged only by not electromagnetism, not electricity, but static electricity. Static electricity. A capacitor can build up just by sitting out and would knock your ass down if you touch it. So, this grounding in the Book of the Dead, coming forth by day, the Papyrus of Ani. In that stroll, it stated, I heard one state, not sure who it was, but it was the soul, or no, it couldn't have been the soul, it was the spirit speaking to the soul or something. It said, and my enemies approached, and my Uraeus did strike them. It did discharge lightning from the Uraeus and struck them dead. It did. Am I lying? Nevertheless, static electricity, grounding. Now, these ones walked with scepters, but they had wooden shoes on. Now, when I look in the static, the items under static, they call static, wood is one. And other things, you know, like wool, your carpet is one. You know, and the other things are. And what ain't, styrofoam is another. But what ain't, rubber and things of this nature, grounding to the earth, discharging. Well, anyway, these ones walk with these scepters, these staffs, and they would have wooden soles on their feet, or it could be anything that keeps the static. So they were charging up while walking. And if they had any different type of amulets or any type of things of that nature, like I would say anything. You know what I'm saying? Anything. If they had anything on them, this is something I made it, but I got it messed up. Put a portal on the side of it. Can you see it? Just trying to be different. And some personal stuff in there. But nevertheless, and would be walking with, you know, different types of things upon them. So, they would be charging up, and I believe, possibly, could discharge energy because they had that scepter rod. And when they put it down, it could discharge them because the scepter was made out of copper, and it had a little like a tuning fork on the end. And they could have been walking to different ley lines and destinations with that, okay, full of static electricity, enough to move along the track, the lines, the tracks of the train to lead you to a place. See, this is all far-fetched, but if we stay in the physical, you would never see it. If you want to talk shit about the soul but call it pseudo, you'll never see it. Nevertheless, so we go further. I used to know this one cat right off in Gary. I didn't know he was so wise. He was an older brother, but I didn't know him to be wise as he was. Nevertheless, I was in the company of the frequency at one point, and he stated, hell, I'm not worried about them. He said, shit, they can't see far enough in the dark to see me. I was like, and he wasn't on no slick shit. He was never on no slick shit. He was real smooth cat, you know. Nevertheless, and real appropriate with his mannerisms about certain things, but real wise, you know. You would say some stupid shit, he would say, well, shit, you know, I can't even be mad at you. And then you'll say, like, what, why? Or he'll say, you want to know why? Because he said, you want to know why? Because I believe it's a sin. It would be a sin to be mad at retarded folks. You know, shit like that. But anyway, they would discharge it into the ground. Like if we look at the Ark of the Covenant, they carried it. They put certain poles in it. Put the top on it, it would charge up. Now, you know what it's made of. Okay, once they put the top on it, it would charge up. Nevertheless, after it charged, right, after the energy, after the chi charged in the structure, with the top being closed. See, the top had to be closed. And once it was closed, it could charge up, and they would lift it up with wooden staves through this double-plied, different type of metal situations. All right. Nevertheless, but if anyone came to touch it, they would get knocked on their ass. They said it was stolen one time and put on the back of a wagon. When the wagon hit a rock, it went to fall out, and the king or somebody that was alongside of it went to touch it and put it back in, push it back into the wagon, and he was killed dead instantly, struck dead. Pow! God killed him. All right. Now these Levites was trained priesthood that was trained in a mannerism about this art of so-called harnessing the static electricity. Nevertheless, it's in a book. Yeah. Nevertheless, anyway, I'm gonna cut it here a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But check it out though. Just look at it. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna hold the information. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people say, you know, this, what is this doing? I already told you, it's not for fighting. I'm not trying to beat nobody or none of that shit. I keep telling you, if you listen to what I'm saying, you know, only thing you're doing is putting together your positive and negative charges. You putting them in submission. You telling it what to do. But you actually are not. It's actually agreeing with you because you're using its methods. You're using its methods of travel. It moves around. It moves around. We like dancing. You know, all of our ancients did something. Nevertheless, what you think the Holy Ghost is? Remember them dances? They would dress up like clowns. The big brother, he took a lot of youngsters off the street and made them dress up, and it was like crunk or whatever. I think it's something like that. But they was dancing, but they had a little thing in there. They said something like, one of the boys had fell down after he was dancing so much and went into like a frenzy. But what was it? They said that's what they've been waiting on. Now it was esotericness, and there's one who brought this to these youngsters, but told them that they, through their movement, what was possible to happen. See, some of the same effects of like the Holy Ghost, we say, what is that shit? You know what? And once we got wise, we say, what is that shit? You know, what the fuck is that? We don't know what the fuck that is. But nevertheless, you know, and that's not no insults completely, because at one point we didn't think like that either. But anyway, you know, so anyway, they would dance until they got it. You know, and even in church, when they be getting the Holy Ghost, they be dancing, they be moving. They have to get into the rhythm of the flow. This you can do. This you can do now. Get into your own rhythm and your own flow. You do not need a teacher. Just learn your whole body. Your whole body got to move when you turn. You're going to turn like this. Don't go all like this and try to do like this, because then you fucked up. As soon as you go like this, you fucked up. As soon as you move your head, you fucked up. Your head must be always centered with this. If your head turns, your body must turn. Okay? If he goes over here, you turn the same way, and you keep this line straight. You keep straight up with him. So even if you have to close your eyes, when your trunk move and your head don't move, you know what I'm saying? You stay in that. Anyway, but this is not even for that. All right? Once again, this is not for fighting. I ain't telling you to go get your ass whooped. This is about aligning your positive and negatives. So when you walk out from your humble abode, all right, in magnetisms, the particles and waves, the charges, the negative charges and the positive charges out there, outside of your humble abode, have to line up and follow you, because you become a magnetized type of. They got this some type of photography or some shit like that, where they put some things. Okay, let's say the Kirkland shit, where they put the leaf and tore off one part of the leaf, and then they seen that the oil still stayed there. When they put the leaf back up there with the one leaf tore off or one part tore off, it showed the whole thing. So check this out. They trapped some electrons into something, took a picture, and they went one way. So when they took the electrons out, they seen that it was something still there moving in the same manner. So they did it again. And this time they did a little sporadic, like it was going like this, right? Right? The electrons were going like this, you know? All right? However it was going, right? So check it out. So they took them out, and guess what? When they took them out, it was still something in there going like this. So this is what I'm saying. When you line yours up, not for fighting purposes, man, but this is where you can put your hero shit in. You know, you can put your Hulk shit down or whatever you want to do, see? You know, and then you're lining your shit up and focusing with your mind. Your electrons, your synapses goes just this much smoother. It glides. Now, when you go outside, like I said, these motherfucking particles and waves and shit, this is how you bend some of the parts of this matrix. This is just bending a little bit of them. You know, I showed you the static in that little school type of program or project that shows you static electricity from your hair will make water bend. Nevertheless, continue to think about what I said and continue your little practices and studies, man. I'm not the scientist. You are. We all are. Upgrade. Have a great and mighty day.